Writers make lists. Did you know that good writers make lists? There are all kinds of lists that writers make. Grocery list, to-do list, idea list, books to read list, and it can go on and on. A list is written vertically. See how this is written? It starts at the top and they go right down underneath. So this is vertically. Let's look at this list. Let's see why the author wrote this list. Number 1, get gas. Number 2, bank. Number 3, return library books. Number 4, pick up DVD. So what do you think this list is for? Pause the video and turn to your learning coach and talk about why or what you think this list is for. Let's look at another list. Milk, bread, cheese, bananas, carrots, pickles, lunch meat. Turn to your learning coach, pause the video, and discuss what do you think this list is for? Why did the writer make this list? Right? Let's look at the last one. Notice this one has boxes so that as you do them, you can check them off. This one says, do laundry, empty dishwasher, finish thank yous, clean bathrooms, replace kitchen sink light bulb. Why do you think the author wrote this list? Turn to your learning coach, pause the video, and discuss why the author made that list. When authors make lists, they are not making a story. A list is just a few words or one word that helps the list maker keep track of their thoughts. Writers make lists of their thoughts and ideas. The lists are vertical, that means they go down in order, and each line has a new idea, and there's just one word or phrase on each line. Today we're going to read the story Julius, the Baby of the World by Kevin Henkes. Have you ever been frustrated by a younger sibling or another child? What bothered you about that child? Or did you ever feel very protective of a younger child? Why did that child need your protection? Today we're going to listen to a story about a little girl named Lily. Her family is getting ready for a new baby. Pause the video and talk to your learning coach about what do you think a family needs to do to get ready for a new baby in the house.
It's So Long Story Time!
Julius, the Baby of the World by Kevin Henkes. Before Julius was born, Lily was the best big sister in the world. She gave him things, she told him secrets, and she sang lullabies to him every night. After Julius was born, it was a whole different story. Lily took her things back. She pinched his tail. She yelled insulting things into his crib. I'm the queen, said Lily, and I hate Julius. But her parents loved him. They kissed his wet pink nose, they admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. Lily thought his wet pink nose was slimy, she thought his small black eyes were beady, and she thought his sweet white fur was not so sweet, especially when he needed a diaper change. Julius is the baby of the world, chimed Lily's parents. Disgusting, said Lily. Lily had to share her room with Julius. After Julius goes away, do I get my room back? She asked. Julius isn't going anywhere, said Lily's mother. And he didn't. He stayed and stayed and stayed. Lily was supposed to be very quiet while Julius slept. After Julius goes away, can I talk like a normal person again? She shouted. Julius is not going anywhere, said Lily's father. And he didn't. He stayed and stayed and stayed. We want Julius to grow up to be as extraordinary as you, said Lily's mother. So we must tell him constantly how beautiful he is and how much we love him. When no one was looking, Lily had her own idea. We want Julius to grow up to be as clever as you, said Lily's father. So we must sing him numbers and letters whenever possible. When no one was looking, Lily had her own idea. Lily's parents were more than a bit doubtful about leaving the two alone together. Lily had tried to frighten Julius with her nifty disguises. She learned magic and tried to make him disappear, and when that didn't work, she simply pretended that he didn't exist. Lily spent more time than usual in the uncooperative chair, on everything. Lily's parents showered her with hugs and kisses and treats of all shapes and sizes. They even let her stay up 15 minutes later every night. It did not matter. Nothing worked. I'm the queen, said Lily, and I hate Julius. But her parents loved him. They kissed his wet pink nose, they admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. Julius is the baby of the world, chimed Lily's parents. Disgusting, said Lily. Lily's parents were amused when Julius blew a bubble. Can you believe it? They exclaimed. But if Lily did the same thing, they said, Lily, let's mind our manners, please. Lily's parents were dazzled when Julius babbled and gurgled. Such a vocabulary, they exclaimed. But if Lily did the exact same thing, they said, Lily, let's act our age, please. Lily's parents were amazed when Julius screamed. What a lung capacity, they exclaimed. But if Lily did the exact same thing, they said, Lily, let's restrain ourselves, please. One morning, while Lily was busy playing opera, her mother said, Why don't you put some of that verbal exuberance to good use? Why don't you tell Julius a story? He is too little to understand a story, said Lily. He can understand his own way, said Lily's mother. Okay, said Lily, smiling. Julius, the germ of the world, by me, said Lily. Once upon a time, said Lily, there was a baby. His name was Julius. Julius was really a germ. Julius was like the dust under your bed. If he was a number, he would be 0. If he was a food, he would be a raisin. 0 is nothing, and a raisin tastes like dirt. The end, said Lily. The story earned her 10 minutes in the uncooperative chair. Lily warned her friends Chester and Wilson and Victor about babies. Trust me, they're dreadful, she said. She warned strangers about babies, too. You will live to regret that bump under your dress, she said. Lily ran away 7 times in one morning. I'm really leaving this time, she called. Who knows where they'll find me? The same afternoon, Lily had a tea party and everyone came. Everyone but Julius. His invitation must have just got lost in the mail, she explained. Lily had glorious dreams about Julius, and ghastly nightmares, too. Lily's parents showered her with compliments and praise and meatsies of all shapes and sizes. They even let her drink juice out of the antique china cup. It didn't matter. Nothing worked. I'm the queen, said Lily, and I hate Julius. But her parents loved him. They kissed his wet pink nose. They admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. Julius is the baby of the world, chimed Lily's parents. Disgusting, said Lily. When Lily's mother felt up to it, she planned a festive celebration in honor of Julius. All the relatives came. There was quite a spread. What's the big deal? Said Lily. Haven't they all seen a silly lump before? Apparently not. All afternoon the relatives hovered over Julius. They kissed his wet pink nose, they admired his small black eyes, and they stroked his sweet white fur. Disgusting, said Cousin Garland. What? Said Lily. Julius, said Cousin Garland. I think his wet pink nose is slimy. I think his small black eyes are beady. And I think his sweet white fur is not so sweet. He needs a diaper change. Lily's nose twitched. Her eyes narrowed, and her fur stood on end, and her tail quivered. You're talking about my brother, said Lily. And for your information, his nose is shiny, his eyes are sparkly, and his fur smells like perfume. Cousin Garland was speechless. He can blow bubbles, continued Lily. He can babble and gurgle, and he can scream better than anyone. Cousin Garland tried to sneak out of the room. Stop, said Lily. I am the queen. Watch me closely. Lily picked up Julius. She kissed his wet pink nose. She admired his small black eyes, and stroked his sweet white fur. Your turn, said Lily, handing Julius over to Cousin Garland. Kiss, admire, stroke, Lily commanded. Now, repeat after me, said Lily. Julius is the baby of the world. Julius is the baby of the world, said Cousin Garland. Louder, said Lily. Julius is the baby of the world! And from then on, he was, in everyone's opinion, especially in Lily's.
So let's think about that story. Throughout this story, Lily changed her mind. By the end of the story, she was super excited to have her baby brother. In this story, Lily got into a lot of trouble from the way she was behaving. She even had to sit in the uncooperative chair. And over time, she begins to like the idea of having a baby brother. Our behavior towards our families are similar to how we treat people in our community. So, when we think about things, one question was what are some things to do to get ready for a baby? A new baby. And if we make a list, some of the things might include setting up a crib, buying diapers, cleaning, baby-proof the house, and get bottles ready. If we are to make a list of all the things, when we get this done, we can check off the list. Often, families have rules about how children should act and what they should do to help at home. Today, you are going to make a list of rules at your house. Remember, a list is not a story. The lines are vertical, and each line has a new idea where there is just one word or phrase on each line. You're going to upload this in the discussion, and then when you're done, you can read the rules at other people's homes.